Woo-wee, what's going on YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. So I'll tell you what, I really respect the people over at CJRB. They sent me a couple knives, right? They sent me the Novas, the new ones, and they sent me this guy. This is called, I believe, the chip. Oh no, it's the Knap, K-N-A-P, not the chip. The chip is a different one. It's a cleaver style. This is K-N-A-P, the Knap J1940. I'll tell you what, they are brave. The people over at CJRB are brave. I got this box in, I was like, ooh, let's really see what this thing's all about. And I'm thinking the size of this box, this should be all right. And then I was like, wait, what's that? So what's that? So I have reviewed multiple CJRB artisan cutlery knives multiple times, and they know that I have ginormous hands, right? Here to here is almost 11 inches. I know it's hard to tell on video, but I have ginormous hands. They sent me the smallest knife they have, something that doesn't work with these hands, and they thought, we're gonna let D-Bad review it. I thought, what is wrong with them? So let's get out of the obvious. The little leather sheath I really like. You tuck this in a pocket, you grab and you pull, and it's gonna be out. The problem is, how can I use this knife? I don't really know, but we're gonna try and figure it out. Here to here, that's a cool looking package. It'd be even cooler if it was about this long for me, but we're gonna figure this out. So let's go over some of the specs on this $40 mini lifesaver. The blade length on this guy, well, first of all, the sheath. It is real leather. It is CJRB stamped. It's a nice little sheath. It's fully molded. I actually do like the sheath. Now this guy, man, those people are brave. So blade length is 1.18 inches, officially the smallest blade of my entire lineup. The blade thickness, even though that short, is 3 millimeters. It's pretty close to the length of the blade. The finish is PVD coating. They do have a sand polished version too. They have different colors that you'll see. What I'll do is I'll add the link to this one and you'll be able to go through and see all the colors. One great thing is that it does have a flat grind. You say, what's the purpose of a flat grind, or what does it matter if you can't hold onto the knife? We'll get into that. The blade material on something like this doesn't need to be AR-RPM9. It could be something way cheaper, but they decided to use a really nice steel anyway. Great edge retention, even though this is not going to be any kind of knife you're using to where you're probably going to be wearing out the edge. The Rockwell is 5961. You didn't even have to heat treat this thing. They just did. It is a spear point. It is a perfect spear point. You can see it's even on both sides. It is G10 or carbon fiber. Some of them have carbon fiber. This is G10. Let's see if we can get the texturing in there. You can actually feel the texturing when you pinch your fingers on it. The overall length is 3 inches. Assembly is sheath and rope. They do have a weight of 0.52 ounces. That means, oh, I'm holding a knife. So this is what they did to make it work. That, because you go from having a handle that big to a handle this big. Now, can I just grab it and hold it like that? I actually can. How hard or how stable is the grip? Let's try and pull the knife. I can still pull up, I can still pull down, but it's taken a lot of force. So if I was going to just swing randomly at something that I have that I can actually swing at without ruining outside. Outside, we have stuff outside. Is it going to be able to hold in my hand without flipping over? And I don't really have to worry about cutting me because this right here, this little catch, is stopping at my finger. If I went back with a little back cut, it would stop at this finger. Now, what is this knife for, D-Bat, if it's a knife you can't even hold? And oh, and beyond that, you take a pinky and you shove it in there and you press that pinky down hard. Now let's see. Same amount of force I'm pulling and I can barely move it. That tells me, especially if I lock my thumb into this little hollow pin, that tells me with wrapping my finger around the well, I can slash. And that's what this is for. This is going to be a little zip zip in and out, just get it done, slasher type thing. Can you hold it in a reverse grip? Yeah, but would I? Probably not. I mean, I guess you can. And having the lanyard on there, and I'm not a big lanyard fan unless it's necessary. This one is necessary. Although if I turn the blade this way and put that little section, the two dips, and I lock it in there, I can't turn this knife. Can't turn it. So now I can swing. We're gonna have to check that out. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna line up some like styrofoam, and I'm just gonna swing at it. Because of what this knife is, we don't have to do any other testing. This knife is a self-defense, not to kill, not to maim. This is, oh crap, they got a blade, and somebody is gonna stop. An assailant does not want what we call in the military a hard target. You make yourself a hard target by just giving yourself something sharp and pointy, right? If they have a feeling that they're about to bleed, they're not going to want to mess with you most of the time. Most people, they look for the easiest targets they can get because they don't want anybody to fight back. And if you have a blade, any kind of blade, even a key sticking out of your finger, they have something to worry about. And they don't like that. Bad guys are kind of sissies. So, let's take it outside. All right, so what does this massive hunk of steel look like in the sun? Let's get it really close so you can get a good look at it. Right here. It's a cool looking design. For me, it's way too, for me, it is way too small. If I gave this to my daughter, I bet she would freaking love it. And it would make her feel safe when she's taking walks and things like that. Let's see, before we get started, what kind of edge this thing has on it. Oh, it's like a travel razor. That's so funny. It is definitely a razor because this thing is crazy shave sharp. Although, oh, you know what? I didn't even realize. What do I have in my pocket today? I didn't plan on doing this review today. I got CJRB in my pocket right now. I absolutely didn't even realize. I just thought about it. I was like, wait a second. Oh, edges. Yeah, so this thing, let's see. I'm gonna get my pinky around that in the foregrip. So if you have to get in, get out, and just try and defend yourself, there is a possibility that it'll work, right? If I'm coming at you, especially me, I'm a big guy. If I'm coming at you and you see just this alone is gonna be devastating. I'm not gonna lie to you. But this with this, it's kind of crazy cool. Let me get something to cut. All right, so I'm gonna start by locking it into the grip and going this way. And what I want to do is just do a couple of like hooks, right? Boom. And I gotta say, that is pretty nice. I'll show you some up close. Back cut. Oh man. If this is skin, I missed. So if I'm doing some hooks and things like that, that's gonna work. Little jabs, little jabs, little jabs. I didn't cut my hand. So that's a plus. It's in my hand, it's in my grip, it didn't shift, it didn't move. Let's try this in the other direction. So what I want to do is I'm going to hold this one in like a pinch grip style. And I'll tell you what, the tip is making these sweet little slices. And if you're somebody who wants to survive, but you don't have it in you to end somebody's life, this is perfect. This is going to chase away a bad guy because as soon as somebody gets cut, they're going to react, right? And once they start to bleed,
they're not going to want to bleed more. So they're generally going to stop. All right, so I just did all those little swings. It never left my hand. It didn't turn out of my grip, which was one of the things I was worried about. It's just absolutely in the grip. This is the smallest knife I will ever review, ever. And so far, it's working. Somebody obviously less than my size is going to use this knife and be okay. So there you can see I went all the way in. I caught my finger right here, just on this little edge right here. That was because my hands are big and it wrapped around. So you can see that. So with my hands being big, going on a full stab, and I hit the wood. And so the knife stopped. Skin against skin, I might not stop. And especially if I go through boom, 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 and just pull back, boom, 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 boom. Now that's not happening. Now I'm not touching it. So that little cut right there, I mean, first of all, if my life was on the line and I was able to beat an attacker and all I ended up with was that, I don't think I'm too mad about that personally. But I'm going to show you up close just what's happening here. I mean, that was kind of cool. The blood splattered. Got white sneakers. I'm out here in the dirt. With the blood splatters, it's kind of looking like a really expensive painting. All right, so look at some of these cuts, right? This thing is absolutely penetrating, which if this is skin, it's going right through, right? If it can do this to this, it can do that to me. I mean, I just touched my finger, and it opened right up. So the edge is going to be absolutely able to perform going in. I'm telling you right now, if you have XL to double XL hands, it might not be your knife. I'm not going to lie to you. Does that mean it was designed wrong, or does that make it a bad knife? No, that makes it a knife suitable for a different hand. Hand sizes, I'm sweating. Hand sizes range very, very wide, right? So there are people out there with little tiny hands who would hold this and it would be the greatest thing in the world to them. If you, like, I'm telling you, I think if you are especially a woman or a girl, you got your teenage daughter out there going for walks and you want her to keep something to protect herself, something like this. You know what's crazy is the cut is so minute, but because it's so wonderfully sharp, the edge, it just bleeds and makes it look like it's worse. So think about it. If you were to have this knife and you used it and you gave somebody a little cut and they saw the blood coming, they would think that you just really damaged them. It's nothing. It's nothing on what I have on my finger. But the assailant might not know that. So what is my very, very honest review or honest take on this guy right here? I'll tell you, if you were a smaller hand person, you might really dig this thing. It's something you can throw right in a purse or one of those wallets. I'm trying not to get blood on my awesome shoes, or I'm wearing all white. So it really is something that you could use. Now, even if you are a bigger person like me, I was able to prove that until I jabbed it into a solid piece and my hands, or the blade stopped because I hit actual wood, my hand kept going, and it only kept going to right there. It was just this little tiny piece of the ricasso that got me. I got a nick, a little tiny nick. So could someone my size actually use this to use in self-defense? Absolutely. Would I recommend it? Maybe not. Maybe I'd say go with one of their bigger knives if you're a bigger person. If you're a smaller person, you might actually really dig this. I think this is a good little knife for self-defense. It's a good way to keep yourself safe in an unsafe situation, especially if you live in one of those places where you're not really allowed to have weapons and things like that. having something that can hide, something this small, be undetected, you'd have no problems carrying this. And if push came to shove, you can push back. And that's really, really important. So, did they do a good job on it? Yeah. Did they do a good job on it for me? Maybe not so much, but not too shabby, I'll tell you that. Hi, I'm Donnie B all day. Until next knife.